There comes a moment in every empath's life, a sacred turning point, when the weight of the world they've been carrying finally becomes too heavy. When the endless giving, the constant absorbing of others' emotions, the perpetual self-sacrifice, reaches a breaking point, and in that moment, something profound happens. They choose themselves, not out of selfishness, not out of cruelty, but out of a deep, soul-level understanding that Carl Jung himself recognized, that to truly help others, we must first save ourselves from drowning. Today we're going to explore one of the most transformative journeys an empath can take. The journey from self-abandonment to self-preservation, from people-pleasing to peace-choosing. And we'll do it through the lens of one of psychology's greatest minds, Carl Jung. If you're an empath who's tired of feeling drained, depleted, and invisible in your own life, this video is for you. Stay with me for the next hour, because what you're about to discover might just change everything. But before we dive deep, if this content resonates with you, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This journey requires a community of awakened souls, and I'd be honored to have you join us. Act 1. The Empath's Burden. Chapter 1. Understanding the Empathic Nature. Let's start at the beginning. What exactly is an empath? Carl Jung never used this exact term, but he wrote extensively about what he called psychological contamination, the phenomenon where one person unconsciously absorbs the emotional and psychic state of another. Jung understood something that modern psychology is only now beginning to fully appreciate, that some individuals are extraordinarily porous to the emotional experiences of others. An empath doesn't just sympathize with someone's pain, they feel it in their body, in their nervous system, as if it were their own. Imagine walking into a room and instantly knowing that someone is anxious, even though they're smiling. Imagine feeling the weight of your friend's depression settled into your chest like a stone. Imagine your mother's worry becoming your insomnia, your partner's anger becoming your stomach pain, your coworker's stress becoming your migraine. This is the empath's reality. Chapter 2. The Shadow Side of Empathy. Now here's where Jung's wisdom becomes crucial. Because empathy, as beautiful as it sounds, has a shadow side. And Jung was obsessed with the shadow. Those parts of ourselves we don't want to see, don't want to acknowledge, but that control us nonetheless. The empath's shadow often looks like this: the savior complex, the unconscious belief that you're responsible for everyone else's emotional well-being, that if you don't fix it, heal it, or absorb it, disaster will strike. The martyr syndrome, the pattern of self-sacrifice, that feels noble but is actually a betrayal of your own soul. You give and give and give until you're running on empty, and then you give some more. The boundary deficit, the inability to distinguish where you end and others begin. Jung called this participation mystique, a state of psychological fusion where individual identity dissolves into the collective. And here's the painful truth that most empaths don't want to hear. Sometimes, your empathy isn't helping anyone. Sometimes it's enabling. Sometimes it's avoiding. Sometimes it's a way of not dealing with your own pain by staying preoccupied with everyone else's. Jung wrote, "The unconscious mind of man sees correctly even when conscious reason is blind and impotent." Your exhaustion is your unconscious mind telling you the truth. This isn't sustainable. This isn't healthy. This isn't even real empathy. Anymore, it's self-abandonment. Wearing an empathy costume. Chapter 3. The Breaking Point. So what happens when an empath reaches their breaking point? It usually doesn't come as one dramatic moment. It's more like erosion, 1,000 small betrayals of yourself, until one day you wake up and don't recognize the person in the mirror. You've given so much that there's nothing left. You've listened to so many problems that you've forgotten how to voice your own. You've held space for everyone's emotions that you've lost touch with your own feelings. You've made yourself so small, so accommodating, so convenient for others that you've become invisible to yourself. And the people you've poured into, some are thriving because of your support, but others, and this is the hard truth, have learned that you're a bottomless well. They've learned that you'll always be there, always give more, always sacrifice yourself, and unconsciously they've started taking advantage of that. Not because they're bad people, But because you've taught them how to treat you, Jung observed, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The breaking point is when the unconscious patterns become conscious. When you finally see what you've been doing to yourself in the name of love, compassion, and empathy. Act 2, The Jungian Awakening, Chapter 4, Individuation, the Path to Wholeness. Now we arrive at Jung's most important concept for the empaths. Journey, individuation. Individuation is Jung's term for the process of becoming who you truly are, not who your family needs you to be, not who society expects you to be, not who your friends want you to be, but who you, at your core, actually are. For an empath, individuation is nothing short of revolutionary, because it means extracting yourself from the collective emotional soup you've been swimming in. It means differentiating your feelings from everyone else's feelings. It means discovering that you are not responsible for managing the entire emotional ecosystem around you. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But here's what makes this challenging for empaths. Individuation feels selfish. It feels like betrayal. It feels like you're abandoning people who need you, and that's exactly the point where most empaths turn back. They can't bear the guilt. They can't handle the discomfort of disappointing others. So they return to the familiar prison of self-sacrifice and call it love. But Jung would say that's not love. That's unconsciousness. That's staying in the infantile state of psychological fusion because the adult task of separation is too frightening. Chapter 5. The Persona versus the Self. Jung distinguished between two crucial concepts: the persona and the self. The persona is the mask you wear in the world, the adapted, socially acceptable version of you. For many empaths, their persona is the helper, the healer, the one who always understands, the emotional support animal for humans. This persona brought you validation. It brought you purpose. It made you feel needed, valuable, important. And so you kept wearing it even when it stopped fitting, even when it started suffocating you. But beneath that persona is the self, capital S. The self is your true nature, your authentic essence, your soul's actual calling. And the self might be very different from the persona. Yourself might be an artist who needs solitude. Yourself might be a leader who needs to set firm boundaries. Yourself might be someone who doesn't want to process everyone's trauma anymore. Yourself might want peace, quiet, simplicity, and the radical act of taking care of your own needs first. The moment an empath chooses peace over people is the moment they're choosing self over persona. They're choosing truth over performance. They're choosing authenticity over acceptance. And yes, some people won't like it. Some people will be upset. Some people will call you selfish, cold, changed. Jung's response would be, good. That means you're becoming real. Chapter 6. The Shadow Work of the Empath. But choosing peace isn't just about setting boundaries and walking away. That's actually the easier part. The harder part is the shadow work. And every empath must do their shadow work if they want to truly break free. What does shadow work look like for an empath? First, admitting you've been using others' problems to avoid your own. When you're constantly fixing everyone else, you don't have to look at what's broken in your own life. Your empathy has been a distraction, an avoidance mechanism, a way to feel important without doing your own inner work. Second, acknowledging your hidden pride. There's a part of you that likes being needed, that likes being the strong one, the wise one, the one people come to. You've built an identity around being the empath, and letting that go feels like death. This is spiritual pride masquerading as compassion. Third, facing your fear of ordinariness. If you're not special because of your empathic abilities, who are you? If you're not needed, do you matter? These are terrifying questions, and most empaths will do anything to avoid them. Fourth, owning your anger. Beneath the exhaustion, beneath the depletion, there's rage. Rage at being taken for granted. Rage at being treated like an emotional dumping ground. Rage at giving so much and receiving so little. But empaths are often terrified of their anger because it contradicts their identity as the kind understanding, compassionate one. Jung said everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The people who drain you are showing you where you haven't protected yourself. The people who take advantage are showing you where you haven't valued yourself. The people who disappear when you stop giving are showing you what the relationship actually was. This is your shadow material. This is your gold. Act 3, The Great Turning. Chapter 7, What It Means to Choose Peace. So what does it actually look like when an empath chooses peace over people? It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's not a big announcement or a burning of bridges. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's a series of small, sacred no's. No, I can't talk right now. No, I can't solve that for you. No, I can't carry that emotional weight. No, I'm not available for that drama. No, I'm not going to abandon my peace to make you comfortable. Each no is a prayer. Each boundary is a meditation. Each act of self-preservation is an offering to the self that's been neglected for so long. Choosing peace means curating your energy like a sacred resource. You become selective about who has access to you. You understand that your presence, your attention, your empathy is precious, not cheap, not unlimited, not for everyone. Releasing the savior complex. You accept that you cannot save anyone. You cannot heal anyone. You can support, you can encourage, you can hold space, but only if it doesn't cost you yourself. And ultimately, everyone must do their own work. Grieving the relationships that can't survive your boundaries. This is perhaps the most painful part. Some people only love the version of you that served them. When you stop being that person, they leave, and you have to let them go. Creating a life that doesn't require recovery from. This is Jung's vision of wholeness. A life where you're not constantly exhausted, constantly depleted, constantly needing to retreat and recover because you've given too much. Instead, a life that nourishes you, sustains you, reflects your true values, embracing sacred selfishness. Jung wrote about the importance of ego development before ego transcendence. You must have a strong, healthy self before you can healthily give to others. Sacred selfishness is the commitment to your own well-being as the foundation of everything else. Chapter 8, The Loneliness of Awakening. But I won't lie to you. This path is lonely. Jung himself wrote extensively about the loneliness of individuation. He knew that when you wake up, when you see through the unconscious patterns that everyone around you is still living in, you become an outsider. Other empaths who haven't awakened yet will think you've become cold, selfish, changed, and not in a good way. The people who benefited from your boundarylessness will accuse you of no longer caring. Your family might not understand why you're suddenly different. Your old friends might drift away because you're no longer playing the role they assigned you. And for a while, maybe a long while, you'll feel alone, more alone than you've ever felt. Because you're in the in-between space. You've left the old identity but haven't fully embodied the new one yet. Jung called this the dark night of the soul, the necessary descent before the ascent, the death before the rebirth, and you must go through it. There's no bypass. There's no shortcut. You must sit with the loneliness, the guilt, the fear that maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you should go back. Maybe peace isn't worth losing people. But here's what I want you to know. On the other side of this loneliness is something beautiful, a different kind of connection. Authentic relationships based on mutual respect, not need. Friendships that energize rather than deplete. A relationship with yourself that's so strong, so solid that you never feel truly alone again. Jung promised, who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. You're awaking. An awakening is always lonely at first. But then you find your tribe, the other awakened ones. And everything changes. Chapter 9, The New Empath. So who are you becoming? What is the new empath like? The new empath is discerning. They can still feel others' emotions, but they don't absorb them. They've learned the difference between empathy and enmeshment. They can hold space without losing themselves in that space. The new empath has boundaries that are clear, firm, and guilt-free. They understand that boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. They decide who gets in and who doesn't. based on whether the relationship is reciprocal, respectful, and real. The new empath takes responsibility only for their own healing. They've released the grandiose fantasy that they're responsible for everyone else. They offer support when they have capacity, and they say no when they don't. And they don't apologize for either. The new empath prioritizes inner peace over external approval. They're no longer performing empathy to be loved, valued, or needed. They're simply being themselves, and whoever resonates can stay. Whoever doesn't can go. The new empath has reclaimed their energy, their time, their life. They've built a life that reflects their values, not everyone else's expectations. They've created space for their own dreams, their own healing, their own becoming. The new empath understands what Jung meant when he said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." You are choosing to become someone who honors themselves as much as they honor others. Someone who protects their peace as fiercely as they once protected others' feelings. Someone who understands that self-love isn't selfish, it's survival. This is the new empath. This is who you're becoming. Act 4, Practical Integration. Chapter 10, Jungian Practices for the Awakening Empath. Theory is beautiful, but we need practical tools. So let's talk about specific Jungian practices that can help you on this journey. Practice 1, Active Imagination. Jung developed this technique to dialogue with your unconscious. For empaths, it's particularly powerful for distinguishing your feelings from others' feelings. Here's how. Sit quietly. Notice what you're feeling. Then ask, is this mine? Let an image, a voice, or a knowing arise. You might suddenly realize that the anxiety you're feeling actually belongs to your sister, that the sadness is absorbed from your coworker, that the anger isn't even yours. Then consciously release it. Visualize it leaving your body. Say, this is not mine. I return it with love. Practice 2, the evening review. Jung kept detailed journals of his inner experiences. You can do a simplified version. Each evening, write, whose energy did I absorb today? Where did I abandon myself? Where did I maintain my boundaries? What am I proud of? This practice builds consciousness, and consciousness is the antidote to unconscious patterns. Practice 3, amplification. When you notice a repeating pattern, like always attracting friends who need to be rescued, Jung would say, amplify it. Explore it through myth, story, archetype. What fairy tale are you living? Are you the savior, the martyr, the wounded healer? Seeing your pattern as a story helps you understand it's not personal, it's archetypal. And you can choose a different story. Practice 4, the transcendent function. This is Jung's term for the ability to hold opposites in tension, until a third thing emerges. For empaths, the opposites are often, I want to help versus I need to protect myself. Don't collapse into either pole. Hold both. Sit with attention. Over time, a third way emerges. I can help from a place of overflow, not depletion. I can say yes to some requests and no to others. I can be both compassionate and boundaried. This is psychological maturity, the ability to hold paradox. Chapter 11, Dealing with Guilt and Pushback. Now let's address the elephant in the room, guilt, and pushback from others. Because when you start changing, people will push back. They'll test your boundaries. They'll guilt trip you. They'll tell you you've changed and not as a compliment. Here's how to navigate this with Jungian wisdom. First, understand projection. When someone calls you selfish, they're often projecting. What they really mean is, you're no longer serving my needs, and I'm uncomfortable. That's their work, not yours. Don't internalize their projection. Second, recognize the collective versus individual tension. Jung talked about how society wants you to stay small, adapted, conforming. Your individuation threatens the collective. So yes, there will be resistance. Not because you're wrong, but because you're different. Third, sit with the guilt without acting on it. Guilt will arise. That's normal. But you don't have to obey it. You can feel guilty and still maintain your boundary. The guilt will pass. Your self-respect will remain. Fourth, find your inner authority. Jung said we must develop our own inner authority rather than looking to others for permission or validation. Your peace is more important than someone else's approval. Say it until you believe it. Fifth, remember, Short-term discomfort for long-term peace. Yes, the transition is uncomfortable, but staying in self-abandonment is a lifetime sentence. You're trading temporary discomfort for permanent liberation. Chapter 12, Rebuilding Your Life. So how do you practically rebuild your life as the new empath? Step 1, audit your relationships. Make a list of everyone in your life. Next to each name, note, does this relationship energize me or drain me? Is it reciprocal or one-sided? Does this person respect my boundaries? Be honest. Step 2, start with micro-boundaries. You don't have to overhaul everything at once. Start small. Tell one person you can't talk today. Leave the family text thread on mute. Skip one social obligation that you dread. Build the boundary muscle gradually. Step 3, create rituals of protection. Before you interact with energy vampires that you can't cut out yet, create a ritual. Visualize a shield of light. Set an intention. I will stay grounded in myself. Have an exit strategy. I can only talk for 15 minutes. Step 4, fill your own cup first. Every single day, do something that nourishes you. Not productive, not helpful to others, purely for your own joy, rest, or peace. This is non-negotiable. Step 5, seek support. Find a therapist who understands. Empaths and Jung join communities of awakening empaths. Read Jung's work, especially The Undiscovered Self and Modern Man in Search of a Soul. You don't have to do this alone. Step 6, trust the process. There will be days you question everything. Days you want to go back. Days the guilt is overwhelming. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Transformation is messy. Stay the course. Act 5, The Sacred Yes. Chapter 13, what you're actually saying yes to. Here's the beautiful paradox. When you choose peace over people, you're actually not choosing against people at all. You're choosing for something sacred. You're saying yes to your authentic self, the person you came here to be, not the person everyone needed you to be. Genuine connection. When you stop people-pleasing, the relationships that remain are real, built on truth, not transaction. Your calling. You can't fulfill your soul's purpose if you're constantly depleted from everyone else's needs. Your peace creates the space for your own becoming. Sustainable compassion. The empathy that flows from a full cup is sustainable. The empathy that flows from depletion is martyrdom. The world needs your sustainable compassion. Evolution. Yours and, ultimately, everyone else's. When you stop enabling, others must face themselves. When you stop rescuing, others must develop their own strength. Your boundaries are an invitation for everyone to grow. Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Your transformation creates the possibility for others' transformation. But you must transform first. You must choose peace first. You must become whole first. This isn't selfish. This is the most generous thing you can do to stop giving from your wounds and start giving from your wholeness." Chapter 14, The Invitation. So here's my invitation to you. If you're an empath who's exhausted, depleted, and lost in the wilderness of everyone else's needs, come home. Come home to yourself. It's time. Time to put down the burden you were never meant to carry. Time to release the people who only want the version of you that serves them. Time to stop apologizing for taking up space in your own life. Time to build a life that doesn't require recovery from. Time to choose peace, not someday. Not when everyone else is okay. Not when you've fixed everything and everyone around you. Now, today, in this moment, Jung's final message was about the importance of the second half of life, the half where we stop building the ego and start discovering the self, where we stop performing and start being, where we stop seeking external validation and start honoring internal truth. For the awakening empath, every day is an opportunity for that second half of life wisdom. Every boundary is a coming home. Every no to others is a yes to yourself. And gradually, something miraculous happens. The peace you've been seeking externally starts bubbling up internally. The love you've been giving to everyone else starts filling your own heart. The wholeness you've been creating in others starts becoming your reality. You become the person Jung always knew you could be. individuated, authentic, whole, not because you abandoned your empathic nature, but because you learned to love yourself with the same fierce devotion you've always given to others. This is the path. This is the way. This is your invitation. Will you accept it? Thank you for spending this hour with me. I know these concepts aren't easy. I know choosing peace over people feels impossible some days. But I want you to know you're not alone in this journey. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with another empath who needs to hear this message. Your share might be the catalyst for someone else's awakening. Subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into psychology, spirituality, and the path of individuation. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content. And please drop a comment below sharing where you are in your journey. Are you at the breaking point? Are you in the lonely middle phase? Have you found peace on the other side? Your story matters. Your experience could be the light someone else needs. I'll leave you with one final Jung quote. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You are not who they need you to be. You are not who they want you to be. You are who your soul came here to become. Choose that. Choose you. Choose peace. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're doing sacred work. Namaste.